We can also apply threaded studs and captive nuts. So we have our threaded stud setting in memory slot number 3 to match the order which appears on the panel. Just firm pressure. We do the same with a captive nut. And we like that to be on tight enough so it burns in a little bit the corners, so that if we hit that or dislodge it, it's not going to break loose. If we've over pulled an area, we can shrink it back down flat without grinding or hammering by using a shrinking tip. Again, we have a setting under the second memory slot for heat shrinking. We apply a little bit of downward pressure and shrink that high spot down flat. If we have a larger dent, an area that we need to shrink, either a high spot or a dent that we want to shrink the metal, instead of heating it with a torch, we can heat it with a carbon rod in under 2 minutes. And we have a manual setting in this mode here for the carbon rod. And if we work this slowly in a circular fashion, in under 2 minutes, we'll heat this just as hot as if we'd applied a torch. I'll let the circles get progressively larger. And now we do quench this quickly with a wet rag or a sponge or a spray bottle, cool that down to shrink the metal. In the event that we want to stitch down the edge on a patch panel or 2 overlapping pieces of metal, we can use a fan-shaped electrode and a pulse mode on the machine. We have to apply a ground as we would for single side, and we have a separate mode setting on the machine for the fan-shaped electrode. In this case, we're going to have low power and a high weld time, so we can paste those stitches apart. And what we're going to do is walk the electrode down the edge of the metal and pulse the current. In the event that we can't reach behind to grab the metal with the 2-sided clamp, what we're going to do is we're going to weld from one side with a single side electrode. So again, we've applied a ground to the bottom piece of metal. We're going to weld on the top piece of metal. Ideally, what we would like to do is clean 3 sides, the 2 inside faces and the top face, and apply a good zinc-based weld-through primer here to the inside. We're going to use a very, very short weld time, less than 80 milliseconds, and a low power. It does make a smaller nugget, but we're going to put back in 3 times more welds than what we take out. So here we have a single side welding mode that we have to select. We set the power at 5,000 amps, the weld time at 60 milliseconds. We're going to apply just firm pressure. Good.